What up, YouTube Elleix? Come back at you with another custom StarCraft 2 cast. If you are a newcomer to my channel, rest assured you're not losing your mind. These are in fact Wisps mining minerals. We are watching a game featuring the Azeroth-Koprulu Hyperwar mod. This mod puts together Brood War, Warcraft 3, and StarCraft 2 into one game. It's absolutely chaotic, and I love it. This matchup in particular is going to be Brood War versus Warcraft, so let's go ahead and introduce our players. Spawning on the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's our blue Night Elf player, Rosebudio, going up against his opponent. Spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, it's our green Brood War player, Anyone. Now, we've been casting a lot of team games on this channel featuring this mod, so it's nice to be getting a 1 versus 1 finally. If you're new to my channel, I do cast a lot of custom StarCraft 2 content, so if custom StarCraft 2 is something you're interested in watching more of, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, back to the show. What is this Wisp doing, man? He's proxy playing. That is hilarious. Rosebudio with the proxy Ancient of War. This is basically a proxy gateway play, and this Wisp, I think, is just out of the line of sight for these overlords, so Anyone is not going to spot this. That is hilarious. And Anyone, I think he's playing relatively greedy. Looking at the production tab, we saw what was a hatchery first, followed by the spawning pool. The spawning pool's just now halfway done, and these slow overlords are not seeing what's going on at all. They are going to be way too late in scouting this double proxy play coming out from our Night Elf player. And what is going on? Oh no. We have a third hatchery on the way, so Anyone is double expanding, and the spawning pool's not even done yet, bro. This is insane. The first archer is on the way out of this Ancient of War. This is going to be disastrous for our green Zerg player. By the way, before I forget, I want to give a big shout out to Rosebudio. He's helping develop this mod, and also a big shout out to Anyone. He is a Spanish-speaking content creator, and he shares a lot of replays with me, so I'll leave his links down in the description below if you're curious to see his content. Man, this is going to be insane. The first archer is already done. The second archer is also already done. And Anyone has not scouted this at all. We have two Zerglings. Actually, these Zerglings running around the map. This was perfect movement. Anyone detecting this proxy play before even seeing what's going on the other side of the map. That is actually huge. We have two creep colonies immediately coming down. These are undoubtedly going to turn into sunken colonies, like, right away. Yeah, okay, great move. So they are morphing into sunken colonies. There is a bit of a graphical anomaly right there. We're not supposed to see this little, like, chimney thing. And oh man, the Ancient of War is uprooted. So the Ancient of War is actually being used aggressively as well. But luckily for Anyone, the sunken colonies are finished. The third sunken colony is on the way. And this is a lot of Zerglings. How many Zerglings is that? 20 Zerglings now, 19 Zerglings. They do get the surround on the Ancient of War. The Ancient of War catches fire and immediately dies. I don't know why the Zerglings are running, I guess to get their reinforcements, because you want to run back to the left-hand side of the map. We also have a hero unit. This is the Warden running home, so Rosebudio is giving up on this cheese. But you know what, Rosebudio? The hero units are really good. I would just go full commit, because when you're committing this much to cheese already, just go all out. Don't pull your punches, man. You want to go all out and just hope that you win. I do love that play, though, using your macro structures offensively. Who thought that we would see that in, you know, in StarCraft 2 minus, like, a planetary fortress proxy play, which is also an insane play, but, you know, it's not really a good play necessarily, so we don't see it a lot. These Zerglings running to the other side of the map, so Anyone is going for the counterattack. What I would do on this Tree of Life, though, is cancel the Wisp, because the Tree of Life, when it's not building, does have a melee self-defense ability. And see what I mean with the hero unit? I mean, look at this. So much health. 280 base health at level 1, and it practically one-shots the Zerglings, as does the Tree of Life. So Rosebudio is still in this game for sure, but I would have definitely used the Warden in my cheese, because she is just so powerful. The Warcraft 3 hero units, I feel like, have such an advantage in the early game, because just how they are, man. I mean, 280 HP for a unit at 4 minutes and 40 seconds into the game is craziness. But nonetheless, Rosebudio is now going for the macro play, I think. Taking a look at the units, we have 35 drones to 20 wisps. So the greedy playstyle for Anyone paid off, but that was partially because he got lucky with the movement on those Zerglings. What else do we have? We have the Hydralisk Den as well. I like this. Given how tanky I feel like some of the Warcraft units are, going for high DPS units seems to be the move. What I would also do is maybe build a bunch of Zerglings and try and run towards, like, I don't know, one of the mineral lines for my opponent. But at the same time, at this point in the game, if you are the Zerg, if, in anyone's case, he has to know that he is ahead based on the fact that he just took out 2 macro structures at like 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, something like that. And he's on 3 bases and didn't lose a single drone, I don't think. Yeah, neither player lost any workers. So, yeah, anyone has to know that he's objectively ahead. At the same time, the Warden with the archers and the huntresses, this is just a really scary army. The Warcraft armies are scary in this mod, especially because, keep in mind, you can go to 200 supply with the Warcraft 3 units in this mod versus 100 supply that you typically do in Warcraft. So I feel like these units are a little bit overtuned compared to the StarCraft 2 units. So, cost per unit is way more efficient, I feel like, for the Warcraft 3 races. But we'll see. We'll see how this game goes. I mean, anyone had a very strong start, all things considered. Night has also fallen. I do like the use of the Sunken Colonies at base number 3. We'll see how well these Hydras do and see what I mean. I mean, look at how tanky these Night Elf units are. Now, the Night Elves will be able to Shadow Meld, so if they hold still, they will be able to kind of just cloak. And taking a look back home for Rosebudio, he's still on 2 bases, and we have the Ancient of Wars actually moving forward. I wonder if these are going to be used offensively or if they are moving to defend base number 3, which is, I think, what is more likely going to happen. It looks like Rosebudio is more concerned with keeping base number 3 alive than base number 2, which is fair. I think this is going to land on the radar for anyone as soon as he spots it. And these Hydralisks, oh, man, it's like watching, I don't know, like the Undead versus the Night Elves. Like, what else would you compare this to? I honestly have no idea. It's like Warhammer or something, man. This is hilarious. We have okay, so we have another hatchery right here. So we got a macro hatchery at base number 3, and we also have a macro hatchery at base number 1. Do we have a macro hatchery at base number 2? No, we don't, but we have base number 4 coming down for our Zerg player. These Hydras, I'm liking the movement here, but the surround on the Zerg army by Rosebudio. I think Rosebudio was going to come out ahead, but ultimately does retreat back home with his army. Taking a look at the supply, the total supply, we have 86 supply for Zerg and 67 supply for our Warcraft 3 player. And what is this? What do we have? Okay, we have some overlords just chilling. I thought they were mutalisks for a sec. I was like, wait a minute, I don't think I saw mutalisks on the production tab. We have +1 ranged attack for the Zerg coming down. Is just about halfway finished. Taking a look at the production tab, we have glaive throwers on the way. We have more huntresses as well on the way from our Ancient of Wars. And lurkers on the way as well. This is awesome. I love this. I think the lurker is the right move with this army composition that Rosebudio has. This is a ground-heavy army, and the glaive throwers, I mean, they're pretty fast. They're a lot faster than the meat wagons. They're actually really fast. I didn't realize how fast they were, but yeah, this is looking like a good army composition for our green Zerg player. Oh man, I don't know. I feel like just the supply is so much more in favor for our Brood War player that anyone's really going to do well. As long as he doesn't lose his army, though, you want to be efficient with these units. And great save on this lurker. It almost died. There is detection right now, though. I think that's coming from these sentinels. Yep, it can see invisible units, so that's actually really helpful for our Warcraft 3 player, using the Sentinel from the Huntress, able to spot those lurkers and forcing anyone to go back on the retreat just a little bit. But the army supply, I feel like, is so much more in favor for our green Zerg player that really he could do anything. But I think anyone's playing more like, he's playing more like a siege player right now, which is fair because you have, a lurker, which is arguably a siege unit. Just go ahead and move somewhere else. If you're scared of the main army, just move somewhere else, do some damage, run these Zerglings into the mineral line, and then run away when the main army becomes too strong. We have a surround on this Warden, though. The Warden is level 3. She just barely survives. I think she saved herself. Teleporting back home. Oh, nope, there she is. Never mind. So the Warden does survive and will likely go down. These Lurkers doing so much damage, but the Archers with their range able to take out so many of these Hydras with the glaives on the back of this. And the Sentinel with its detection able to detect those Lurkers and take out the rest of the Zerg army, bruh. Oh no. That was a big pickup for our blue Night Elf player. Let's take a look at the resources lost tab. 7,000 resources lost to 5,000 in favor for our blue Night Elf player. We have a double hatchery coming down on, what is this? This is base number 5 now, so another macro hatchery on the back of this immediately. We have a decent amount of sunken colonies, but they are kind of stuck. Not stuck, but they're consolidated on the bottom side of this base. What our Night Elf player could do is run onto the right-hand side of the map and maybe take out some workers if he really wanted to do some economic damage to his opponent. Oh man, now it's looking like we might have a lead for the Night Elf player. The supply is still in favor for our Zerg player, but I mean the resources lost is not insignificant, and this is a lot of Lurkers. They do burrow, but Rosebudio knows better than to run on top of those Lurkers, decides to run back just a little bit. That one Sentinel does get taken out by the Hydralisk. And anyone being cautious, I like that, not getting too greedy, unburrowing those Lurkers and running back home. What else do we have on the production tab? We have one more sunken colony on the way. We have Zerg ground carapace level 2 on the way as well. As well as the adrenal glands, actually. Okay. Gotcha. We have an Ancient of Lore being built, and we have an Ancient Protector being built as well. The Ancient Protector is going to be static defense for our Night Elf player. And we have Hippogriffs. Okay, we have Hippogriffs coming out, so we have some Sky units coming out from the Night Elf player as well. So a slight tech switch coming out from Rosebudio, which I like. Diversifying his army just a little bit, realizing, hey, look, this is a really anti-ground army. Let me mix up some flying units, and then we can take those things out from the sky and not get impaled. How's that sound? That sounds great. I would like to almost see some mutas or something. I'd like to see some harassment coming out from the Zerg player. And speaking of harassment, the Warden running into the mineral line for base number 5. How many workers went down? So 10 workers killed by blue at this point, and 5 workers killed at some point by our green. Zerg player getting a little greedy with that Warden, though. Does get sniped by those Hydras. And it is now daytime. I love the day-night cycle in StarCraft 2. It looks so sick. Just like aesthetically, it looks so dope, man. It just looks awesome. Now, I think I did see an Ultralisk Den, if I'm not mistaken, on the production tab. We have the Queen's Nest. We have a Defiler mount, so Defilers will be on the way. I would like to see some Ultras just because Brood War Ultralisks are insanely good. This is a really big army for the Zerg player, though. Rosebudio noticing that, backing off just a little bit. Both players not willing to throw away their entire army, playing very defensively, and I like that. Neither of them are getting too greedy right now. This is going to be a hard army to break, I feel like, for the Zerg players. Well, actually, no. Do we have Huntresses? We don't have Huntresses. Now we have a couple Huntresses. We'll likely throw, I think, like a Sentinel where would be a good spot to throw one? Maybe like right here at the bottom of the ramp and like one right here on the right side, getting a good line of detection on these Lurkers. And there we go. And anyone immediately noticing that, he's like, yeah, I'm not screwing with that. Let's go home. That is hilarious. And we do have Ultras on the way. I was right. So we did see an Ultralisk Den. There it is, an Ultralisk Cavern, excuse me. So, we are going to see Ultralisks on the field shortly. We had 6 on the way, and we also have a Spire on the way. That is awesome. That is what I wanted to see. We want some Mutalisks in the back of this. These glaives These glaives not doing too much damage because we do have the Dark Swarm from the Defilers. Do we have any Defilers left? Yes, there we go. So there it is, the Dark Swarm preventing projectile damage for 20 seconds. Not bad. And the Ultralisks are here. Look at them. They are so cool. The Brood War Ultras are just such a goated unit, man. I think this is going to change up the game just a little bit. The Ultras do have 400 base HP, which, you know, think about that. The 400 base HP Ultra has, like, you know, just over double the health, or sorry, just under double the health of a level 1 Warcraft 3 hero unit. And you can get that hero unit at like 3 minutes and something seconds into the game. It's absolutely ridiculous. These Ultralisks doing a decent amount of damage, but the glaives with the range able to do so much DPS before they close the distance, and all these Ultras do go down. That was a huge pickup from our Warcraft 3 player. Taking a look at the resources lost, 17,000 resources lost exactly for our green Zerg player to 14,000 resources lost for our blue Night Elf player. So still in favor for Rosebudio. I think that was that a Defiler or a Lurker? I couldn't tell based on its body. But either way, it did go down, and we're going to see a Lurker drop coming out from anyone. I love this. Anyone. That is awesome. And splitting it. Oh, that's sick. So we're going to see a Lurker drop on 2 different sides of the Night Elf side of the map. That's awesome. Okay. Okay, let's see how this goes, man. I mean, what I would do on top of the drop is maybe push like the front line to distract my opponent, but not get too greedy. I mean, it's going to take a lot of it's going to take a lot of micro to be able to do that. Unfortunately, though, this Lurker drop did get spotted. Did the second Lurker drop get spotted? I don't know. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's right here. Okay. Okay, but I think anyone's micro is focused on this big engagement. We also have a Mountain Giant with 600 base health. That is insane. This is just disgusting. Look at the chaos right now. There was a breakdancing Ultralisk in the middle of this. That is hilarious. Now on the minimap, we do see that the Overlord is moving out. So this is a huge pickup for our green Zerg player, destroying the entirety of the blue army. And now we have the Lurkers coming down to do some damage to the economy for the Night Elf player. This is sick. Great movement by anyone. That is some great play. Rosebudio, though, also doing a great job at macroing behind this, able to keep his army not alive necessarily, but reinforced nonetheless. And look at how much damage those glaives do. And we also have the Avatar of Vengeance. Let's actually see what that's officially called. Taking a look at the units tab, we have the Warden, and I think that's actually the Warden ability is the Avatar of Vengeance. Yep, so was able to morph into the Avatar of Vengeance. She is at level 10. These Lurkers are still alive, but now we have the Ancient Protectors, which are detectors, by the way. We'll be able to destroy one of those Lurkers, but despite all that, okay, you know what? 14 workers killed. It could have been a lot worse for Rosebudio. There's a Sentinel here as well, seeing the entire army composition for anyone. And anyone, I don't know if this is on purpose, but kind of hiding his army, and I think that is awesome. Another Lurker drop. This Lurker with 13 kills. That is insane. Now 15 workers killed total this game by our green Zerg player. This Sentinel getting a good spot on what is undoubtedly the main army for the Brood War Zerg player. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't know. The army supply, or sorry, the total supply is way in favor for anyone. He's at 193 army supply as opposed to 117 supply for the blue Night Elf player. But this is a really, really terrifying army, man. Let's take a look at the upgrades. We have 3 Carapace upgrades for the Ultras, but no attack upgrades because anyone was going for the range upgrades. I like this, though. The Dark Swarm on top of the melee army is actually going to be a huge, huge play for our Brood War Zerg player. So much stuff is going down for Rosebudio. At the same time, we have one Lurker here. Or not one Lurker, sorry, one Overlord that was holding the Lurker, but I think the Lurker's actually dead. Base, what was that? Base number 4 or 5 does go down. So many Ultras are still alive. 24 workers total killed this game for the green Zerg player, or I guess killed by the green Zerg player, I should say. What a crazy death on that Ultralisk. There are some Hippogriff Riders right here, and there's not a lot of anti-air for the Zerg player, but this is just so much stuff for anyone. The Warden will likely go down. I think she does go down. Rosebudio throwing out the GG, giving the victory to our green Brood War Zerg player, anyone. What a sick 1-versus-1 matchup featuring the Azeroth-Koprulu Hyperwar mod. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email and Discord in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.